Frankie, welcome.
Cheers, Mark. Thank
Thank you. Okay, so how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, good.
How's business?
It's busy, as you guys will be well aware of. For us, it's always about keeping up to date with the demand in the market. A lot of our clients are international, UK, so on and so forth, and it doesn't look like things are getting better back there in the short term. So, demand is at an all-time high for us at the moment, just from an investment perspective. So really busy, but, more than equipped to deal with it for sure.
Okay, so you've been with, how long have Kamani been there in existence?
Good question. So we've been operating for about 6 months. I mean, the Kamani brand has been operating in real estate for quite some time. But us as a real estate agency, coming up to around 6.5, 7 months now. So fairly new, but not new in the sense of we know our way around the market. So, yeah.
So who were you with before?
So I was working for a company in Business Bay. So I've been in the market coming up to 2.5 years now. And obviously spent the last 4 months at Kamani Living. But before that, I was at another company in Business Bay.
Okay. But that was the next step in the journey, was it Kamani Living?
It was, yeah. So I'm obviously well aware, being from the UK, about the Kamani's brand, what they've done with other businesses, Pretty Little Things, so on and so forth. And I knew Tom on a personal level, one of the partners at the business. And when he told me about the opportunity in terms of the brand, it's all about who you work for. I'm an agent at the end of the day. It's not my company. So I need to be able to leverage from different angles. And it seemed like that was the best chance for myself, selfishly.
But you've got quite a large UK demographic that you're working with.
I would say 85% of our business is UK.
Okay. And it's paying off.
Absolutely. I think if you're a UK investor and you're looking at the Dubai real estate market, you want to be speaking to somebody who's British. You want to be speaking to somebody who's been there, done it, and wore the T-shirt. So we can kind of capture all realms because, one, we've got the brand representation, and two, we know what we're talking about, and we're British. And we can put ourselves in people's shoes.
So what do you think the attraction is for the British market now?
Emotionally or unemotionally, I think you've got two ways to look at it. I think you put yourself in the shoes of people who are in the UK at the moment, and you look at Dubai from an outside perspective. I moved here with my wife. We've now got nearly 2 kids. We've bought a house out here. Nearly. So I've got a son and my other son. My son's actually called Leo.
Okay.
How crazy is that? We're obviously doing with Leos. But so I look at it emotionally, I can see why people would want to move here, because you've got the lifestyle, you've got the safety, and you've got everything which contributes towards like a perfect oasis and which has been created for us. Unemotionally, when you look at the population growth, you look at the deficit in terms of the supply and demand, I think from an investment perspective, it stacks up. But also from a living standpoint, where else in the world could you live where you become accustomed to such a high level of service? I've not personally seen it in my years on this earth. So I think what attracts people from the UK is pretty much a bit of everything.
I think so. I think also that, business is very fast paced.
Agreed.
We do work hard, but we have the compensations. And I don't mean just the financial compensations. I just mean that the lifestyle, et cetera, simple things like the beach, the weather, everything's accessible. And as you say, the service industry is very good. I do think that is lacking a little bit you can work very hard in the UK, but you still don't have that accessibility to that kind of lifestyle. Unfortunately. So I think it's very important for people to realize what you can have here. And I know previously a lot of the UK young professionals that came here were really here to make a lump of money, go back to the UK and purchase a house. But I think that has changed dramatically in the last 2 or 3 years. 5 years, let's say. But certainly since I've been here 3 years, I've noticed it. I've noticed that the plan is to come here, set up a lifestyle, maybe get married, have children, and live your life in Dubai, which is it's not as transient maybe as it was before. I think certainly with the type of developments and the kind of money that's been spent on the infrastructure by the government, I mean, the green spaces and beautifying the city, I think that'll become more and more apparent to everybody. How long have you actually been here for?
Coming up to 4.5 years.
Okay, so you've been here a little bit longer than me.
Yeah.
And do you see that happening? Do you see the city changing?
Absolutely. It's remarkable. Every time I go back to the UK, even if it's for a weekend, I feel like when I get back off the plane, something else has changed. It's only been 2 days. I'm like, is that new? I can't, I'm so blown away with how quick they build out here, but also to a level. But I mean, when I first moved here, not like I've been here for, many moons, but when I first moved here, it was just a complete different demographic of people. A lot of the people in which we're here coming off the back of COVID were single.
Yes, of course.
Now you've got a whole new demographic which are moving here, which are young families or people who are, happy to settle down. So I think the mindset and the mentality of the city has changed so much over the past 4 years. Dubai was seen as a party place where you can still have a good time now. I think people are looking at it as, actually, I can settle down here. Yeah. This is somewhere I want to be. As you mentioned, going back to people actually earning money and buying property here. People are seeing this as an end destination now, somewhere for their kids. And I don't think Dubai was that place 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't feel that way anyway.
No, neither did I. You're right.
So, it's changed dramatically, but for the better.
No, that's right. So this is the end goal for you. You're going to be here. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, the way that I look at it, I spoke to my wife about this as well. And even if one day we woke up and we didn't like Dubai, we fell out of love with it. It's not about us. It's about our kids. Yeah, so selfishly, if we wanted to move back to the UK, we still wouldn't do it. Not to say that we do, but it's not about us anymore. When you've got a family, as anybody will be able to mention, it's like, where's the best education? Dubai. Where are our kids most safe? Dubai. Where are they going to get the best possible upbringing and the best circle of friends and influence? It's Dubai. So no matter what, this is where we've got to spend the next 10 or 15 years.
I think it's also the best opportunity for success.
Exactly.
Is what you've got to be looking at here.
100%. My dad lives in Qatar. He's been there for 12 years and my little sister's grown up in Qatar.
Right.
And the level of people in which she's even friends with is incredible. The holiday she goes on to. It's just like in the UK, unfortunately, you just don't have the luxury of that anymore.
No.
So for me personally, I will be here for as long as it remains the same, really.
So tell me, being a family man, how does your week work?
If I had a definitive structure, I would look a lot different in terms of I wouldn't have the bags under my eyes. But basically the way that it works is quite simple. My wife currently, she deals with the baby in the night. So I wake up at 5:30 in the morning every day because that's when I spend the time with my son. I go to work at 7:30, 8 o'clock, get back at 5, 6 p.m. Same routine, bath, bed, eat, sleep, then wake up and do the same thing again. Things will change dramatically for me because I've got another baby on the way in 2.5 months. So what my work week's going to look like then, it's going to change.
Yeah, but weekends with the family.
Weekends with the family always, that's my time to really spend time with my wife and my son. And obviously I've got another baby on the way. So this job takes up a lot of time. But as you'll know more than anyone, this job takes up a lot of time just being on your phone. It's not necessarily you have to be in one place at one time. You've constantly got people messaging. And it's almost like, you feel accountable that you have to get back to these people. So you're always working. No matter
You're always on, let's say.
You're always on. Sometimes my wife can't understand that and other people can't understand that, members of my family. But if you switch off for a minute, and once again, going back to this level of service in which we're accustomed to, our clients or my clients, they feel like they should get the same back. So it's only right.
Absolutely. But you're enjoying it?
Love it. Yeah. Obviously, listen, it's got its ups and downs, shall I say? But that's the same with anything to do with sales. I've been in sales for a number of years now, and it is what it is. You've got to ride the rough with the smooth as well. So I really enjoy this market because I've personally invested into this market as well. So I find it quite exciting and
see what's going on.
Yeah, and also I'm not quite sure. You might be able to educate me a bit more, but I don't think this has ever been done before. The way that the Dubai real estate market is operating, maybe in Miami at some point.
Yeah. I mean, look, something I keep reiterating I have a meeting at 6 o'clock. I do a meeting on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday with the whole team to have a conversation really about what's going on and what I think is going on and see if they agree with me, answer any questions, bring up various topics, and really just try and hopefully even slightly inspire or push them on to better things. And I'm saying to them, there's nowhere else in the world at this moment, or has there been, I don't think, that a city like Dubai, that the property market is so hot. Right? Number one. And the moment is now, right? So if you're in this market, take advantage of it now. Don't come in on a Monday morning after a heavy weekend thinking, oh, I'll start tomorrow. No, it doesn't work like that. You've got to start immediately and keep on it.
Mm.
I said, because this opportunity may not come around again.
Mm.
So there's possibly a finite amount of time. And I'm not talking a very short amount of time, but I'm talking there's a finite amount of time that this will go on for. And you guys, as I say, at your age, you're lucky to be involved in this market, you know? You're lucky to have the opportunities. You're lucky to be in Dubai at this specific period of time. Mm-hmm. So, you can set up the rest of your life for the next few years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is something I talk about all the time to get people to understand the urgency of it. And I guess, when I talk about that, that's more from, I could talk about that and preach it, but that's just experience. Mm. Sometimes people need to make their own experience to absolutely understand 100%. That. I just tried to help the guys as much as possible and advise them as much as possible that, I've always been of the mindset that sales and anything like sales is mainly hard graft. It's hard work. It's not about being flash. It's not about having the vocabulary. It's just about hard work a lot of the time. 100%. Being organized, disciplined, and hard work. Yeah. And you'll succeed.
I agree. No, I agree completely. Yeah.
Well, as I say, I think, so Kamani Living, I've met a few of the guys from there. Your market is, the demographic you're hitting very heavily is the UK, and that's working very well, which is great because now it's bringing more awareness. I think, it's people go, Kamani Living are looking after the UK, so maybe we won't have it. It's vast. Yeah, it's vast. So Kamani Living is actually doing everybody else a favor. Yeah, because it's like it's opening the tin on the market. It's opening the top of the market, so other brokers can become involved in that. And for us, it's great because then it spreads the LEOS message.
Of course, it does.
Which is fantastic. So it helps everybody. Once somebody enters properly into a new market.
100%. And the reason why we're specific with our approach in terms of developers in which we endorse is because we have to do the hard yards. We have to work with developers in which aren't 100% correct at that time for us to know that they're not the right developers for us. But, for us, when we're approaching British clients, to have a British developer kind of goes hand in hand. Straight away, that guard comes down a bit. But there are, LEOS aren't the only British developer. There are others in the market, and there's a lot more coming to market. But proof's in the pudding, right? Yeah. That's all.
I think we're the only ones that develop in the UK and here.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think there's been British developers before, but only started developing here.
I believe so.
I think that's our USP.
Yeah, the niche.
That's the niche. But I think also that you've always got to look for new avenues. You've always got to look for new markets. And new regions to sell into. And I think that, since you've been with us maybe, 2 months?
Yeah, maybe 2 months just less, yeah.
You've done really well in those 2 months.
Yeah.
You came and met me in my office, 2 months ago must be now. Yeah, 2 months ago. Yeah. And we put a deal together and you to be fair, you delivered on your side of it.
Yeah.
So, I want to do hopefully a lot of business with you guys. We've got a lot of stuff around the corner. We launched WG5 today. But we've got something really big happening.
Yeah.
Something really big.
Are we going to get it? Are we going to get it now?
It's going to be a giant step. And you're not going to get it now. I have to have my fun. I'm going to teach you for a little while. Ollie,
Absolutely.
So it's going to be another giant step for us. And we've been here 3 years, 10 projects in. And saying that we only purchased our first plot of land in September of 2022. We're delivering that project in the next month. Which is Hadley Heights 1. Yeah. You guys have been selling in Hadley Heights 2.
Yeah, sold in Hadley Heights 1 as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Sold in Hadley Heights 1 as well. I think the feedback from people with Hadley Heights 1 has been super impressive. I've sent quite a few of the guys from the office down there just for them to go and get a proof of concept for themselves. It's no good me telling them how good it is. No. But when people have gone, they've been really impressed.
Have they? Good.
Really impressed, yeah. Listen, if they weren't impressed, we wouldn't be selling.
Yeah.
That's literally where it's at. You're only as good as your last project. So if Hadley Heights 1 wasn't great, we would have nothing to do with Hadley Heights 2. It just goes to happen that Hadley Heights 1 is really impressive, especially for the price point. So naturally, we can't wait to see what Hadley Heights 2 has.
I think Hadley Heights 2 is well placed in Sports City. I mean, it's got a fantastic, the plot is fantastic, and the location of the particular plot in Sports City, what it's overlooking. You can see the master plan for Sports City. I think the opportunity now to purchase in Sports City, particularly in that location. And people talk about, flipping property and ROI, return on investment, capital appreciation. I think the capital appreciation in Sports City will be pretty impressive because you're in there before the master developer is finished. So the master developer will be finishing as we're building Hadley Heights too. So I think it kind of all come to fruition at the same time. And it's going to be a fantastic location to live in. I think also obviously with the stadiums and the various other facilities there, it's good for investor or for end user.
Yeah, I think it's overlooked. And I think if you look at it geographically, it's in between all of the biggest townhouse and villa communities. Talal Al Gaf, Jumeirah Golf Estates, Arabian Ranches, Damac Hills. Sports City is bang slap in the middle.
Right.
So I think location-wise is perfect. If you can't afford a townhouse or a villa, Sports City is a great location. It's 15 minutes away from everywhere. Saw that very clever video that you guys put together in terms of the connectivity from Sports City. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things I say to guys all the time, listen, you have to educate the audience on the location, and particularly with Sports City, because it's quite close to JVC, etc. And JVC has got its own history, and is very well known as a huge expat community. Sports City is just across the road, so but it's not talked about.
Right.
So I think it's educating people to the location, the connectivity, showing them what it's going to be like. Showing what a nice place it is going to be. As I say, purchasing early is going to help with that capital appreciation. But yeah, I think every time we're doing a project launch now, or doing a new project, I want to explain the project to our buyers. Right, this is where it is. This is what it's going to look like. This is what's going to be around it, etc.
Yeah,
to give them an idea, because it's very hard, I guess, for people sometimes overseas to be able to they don't see what we see every day. So I think we have to explain that, and it works.
Yeah, for sure.
It does work.
Yeah, agreed.
So any questions for me?
Well, no, you've
doesn't mean you're going to answer, no?
You've already said, you've already said we're not getting the big news. So I'm trying to think what's second best.
You're thinking though, aren't you? You think, what's the big news?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, whatever you guys have announced over the past 12 months has been quite impressive anyway. Whatever it is, we're here for the journey, right? I suppose what I want to understand from a developer's perspective is like, where do you see the market going? Like, because to have a huge land bank, there's a lot of commitment there, but also there must be a tiny bit of risk. So what do you see
in everything? There's no reward without risk anyway, as you know. So it's controlling that risk. The Fitch report came out, was it last week or the week before? I looked at it very briefly. And I did a podcast where I was asked about it, and I said, listen, you can come up with your metrics and your global index and your global economy, etc. I said the main metric that matters to me is the amount of feet in the ground in Dubai on a monthly basis. If you're getting 10,000 people coming here to both live and work, etc., you have to provide accommodation, and we're part of that process. So with them saying it's going to soften, what's the evidence for that? Are they going to close the airport? That is the main metric for me. Yeah, I assume at some point every market softens to a certain degree. How minor or major that is obviously depends on other factors. At this moment in time, I don't see anything that's indicating to me that there's going to be any major problem or any large, large problem. I think we're the delivery. Everybody's talking about the amount of apartments going to be delivered this year, next year, but it's still not covering the amount of people moving here. So I don't really see that much of a problem at this moment in time. And when I say that, for the last 2 years since I've been here, people have been telling me, oh, the market's going to soften. Oh, the market's going to soften. When? Oh, in the next quarter. So when's it going to soften? Oh, in the next quarter. So I keep hearing the same thing and no evidence behind. I've had people from banks ask me, Mark, when do you think the market's going to soften? I said, well, you tell me. You're the financial expert. You tell me when it's going to soften. We don't know. So, anybody can write it. Look, evidence and data can be used in any way you want to use it.
Can be manipulated as well, right?
And it depends on whether you're a pessimist or an optimist, So at this moment in time, I don't see that there's going to be any issues. And as I say, from a very simple fact that there's 10,000 people a month coming into Dubai.
Mm. Yeah. And I think you mentioned something there about the handover of units. Right. Over the past 2 years, you've got anticipated completion dates for projects, but only 40% of them have been stuck to. Yes. So if there's 200,000 units being anticipated to complete this year, it doesn't mean they're all going to hand over.
No.
So once again, you go back to these numbers, they just don't make sense. Until at the end of the year, they say this is how many handed over. Well, how many people actually came into the city? Exactly. So I think these reports can be looked at, as I said, glass half empty, glass half full. Yeah,
exactly. And then there's the other side of it. All the units that are being handed over have been sold.
Yeah, I know.
Or most of them have been sold anyway. So
they're all sold out.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked you the question is because it's very easy for us as agents who are trying to do deals to go off the back of a report. But as a developer, you guys are the ones who see the demand in terms of buying into your project. So that's why I wanted to ask it from your perspective.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of buying. I mean, the projects are very successful. I mean, you sold, 20
odd units.
20 odd units. Was 28 units almost? 21,
but then
28 units in less than a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there's a demand,
there it is.
right?
There's the demand. Yeah.
I think the demand is shifting quite. I don't know what it's like for the ultra luxury, but what we're talking about is the space of affordable luxury, where people from the UK, a lot of our investors,
affordable quality.
Yeah. Now, what people actually have a misconception of with Dubai is that everybody thinks they need £1 million to invest here. It's completely wrong. You look at Sports City, price per square foot around 1,300 dirhams or whatever it may be. It's affordable for people, especially on the payment plans, which not only yourself offer, but other developers. So Dubai's got a huge misconception. People see the glitz and the glam and the Burj Khalifa and all these landmarks, but what they don't actually realise is you get the same price per square foot in Dubai in some locations as Birmingham.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a crazy
it's not London prices.
Right? It's not London prices.
I mean,
Mayfair's a joke.
Well, put it this way. Where I live, so close to downtown, if I was to live in the equivalent in London, it would be maybe 4 times the price or 5 times the price. To be that close to the centre of town. I mean, I only live there because it's very close to the office and I spend a lot of time here, so it's just convenient for me to do that,
And how close are you to the Burj Khalifa, let's say, for instance?
I see it off my balcony.
Yes, exactly.
Literally. I can, not this time of the year, but I would walk to the Burj Khalifa easily from where I am.
So prime real estate then really, isn't it?
The other side of the canal.
Yeah, amazing.
So it's not far.
Yeah.
But I just think that, but again, as you say, people see Dubai as the AFC and Zuma and the Arts Club and the various other places and the glamour and, expensive cars, et cetera, et cetera. But as we said, in the last couple of years, I think that's changed. I think people start to see the other side of it. They start to see, the lifestyle they can have either themselves at a reasonable cost or with their children at a reasonable cost. So I think that perspective is changing. I think more guys like you with Kamani who reach out to both the very heavily to the UK and European market are going to be responsible for that. Mm-hmm. To not just explain the square foot price, but to explain the lifestyle and what you can have and what kind of lifestyle you can have. Because that really is the first part that people need to understand before making a decision to either purchase here or live here. And I think that's up to all of us to get that message out there. And I think certainly with where your demographic is, getting that message out is very important.
Yeah, we have to be ambassadors, not only for the city, but also for the lifestyle in which it promotes.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. And what I'm saying is that, ambassadors for the city, as you say, is an ambassador for the lifestyle because the city promotes that lifestyle. And Sheikh Mohammed has obviously got his vision. And it seems to me, for me, it's an incredible vision. It's a situation where the government gives us a lot of support as a private developer in order to build the city.
Yeah.
And, he's got it right. Mm-hmm. He's got it right. Whereas, in other cities around the world and other global destinations, it's a lot more difficult because those cities are developed. This is developing. Mm-hmm. So in a developing city, the opportunities are there for everybody, whether you're in development or any of the business that would work around that, financially, etc. So I think the opportunity's here. When people say to me, I was asked the question, what would you say to young people about coming to buy? I'm just say, come. I said, come now. I said, come now while the opportunity's here. The doors are open for you if you want to work hard, behave yourself, work hard. You can have a fantastic life. And you can have a fantastic life quite quickly. Notice that it's like in a lot of European countries, you have to go through the process.
Yeah, great.
You start at 19, you have this job, then you move on to this job. And it takes a long period of time for you to maybe be in a situation where other people will call you successful. Maybe that's 50. A very successful guy. He's 50. I'm like, here, you can be successful at 21, 22, 25, 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it happens quicker. Because of the pace of business. That's what I truly believe. The opportunities are here. Grab them with both hands.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Any more questions?
No more questions from myself, no.
I think so. I think, as I said to you before, that I think I mentioned it before about podcasts. I prefer them to be a conversation.
100%. 100%.